In Econoland, we often hear people using the terms money and wealth interchangeably. When people talk about Mary the business owner and what a nice house she has, they often say, Mary has a lot of money. However, there's an important distinction between money and wealth. Wealth could mean houses or cars or cash. To an economist, money is anything that is widely accepted in exchange for goods and services. Individuals, firms, and the government make transactions using money. Let's find out what money really is, how it functions in the economy, and how economists measure the supply of money. It is possible for an economy to operate without money. Most economies have operated this way at some point in history. What would it be like in a world without money? Assume that there are only two people in Econoland, Davis and Mary. Instead of using money, they could trade products or services. Davis could trade an oil change, which is worth $20, for 2 of Mary's fruit baskets, each worth $10. This seems pretty simple in an economy with only 2 people. However, the more people you have, the more types of goods you have, then that means the more complicated your economy is, and the more costly it becomes to satisfy everyone's wants. Money was invented as an alternative to barter. It increases the efficiency of an economy by reducing the cost of transactions. When people can use money instead of bartering, this leads to more specialization and better division of labor within the economy. People can specialize in what they do best instead of what they can use to exchange with other people. There are 3 types of money recognized by economists: commodity money, representative money, and fiat money. Let's take a look at each one through the eyes of history. Money that's in the form of a commodity with intrinsic value is considered commodity money. Intrinsic value means it has value outside of its use as money. For example, grain was used in ancient Egypt as one form of commodity money. Grain has an intrinsic value because it's a food. In early American history, maize was used as commodity money. Gold has been used as money for thousands of years. In addition, a pound of tobacco was used as currency in Virginia. Representative money is not money itself, but something that represents money. It's exchangeable for a commodity. Prior to 1973, the United States had a gold standard, which means that money was exchangeable for gold. The paper money was representative of something else, in this case, gold. Believe it or not, in colonial days in America, someone could pay for goods and services using a tobacco receipt, because this receipt was backed by tobacco sitting in a warehouse. Tobacco was a valuable commodity, and these receipts were used as representative money. So far, we've talked about 2 types of money, both of which are based on something of real value. A 3rd type of money is the most common. Fiat money is money without intrinsic value that is used as money because the government says it's valuable. A fiat is simply an order or decree given by a government. Basically, fiat money is money because the government says it is, not because it's actually valuable. Most of the paper currency in the world today, including cash, which economists call Federal Reserve notes, is fiat money. Money is considered the most liquid type of wealth. When an asset is liquid, it means that you can easily and quickly convert it to cash. Some things like real estate are not liquid because they tend to take a long time to convert into cash. On the other hand, a savings account is very liquid, and money itself is the most liquid type of asset. Money serves 3 basic functions. It's a medium of exchange, a unit of account, and also a store of value. Let's take a look at 3 functions of money operating in Econoland. Money is a medium of exchange because it can be used to purchase goods and services. Tammy is a factory worker in Econoland. Every time she buys an Angel food cake from the bakery, she exchanges the money she earned from her job to buy the cake. Money serves as a medium of exchange in the economy, empowering people to purchase goods and services in an attempt to satisfy their unlimited needs and wants. In this case, Tammy has an almost unlimited desire for Angel food cake, and she can buy some with money. Secondly, money is a unit of account because everything in the economy is quoted in terms of it. For example, when Tammy walks into a nearby bakery, the Angel food cake she wants is offered for sale at a certain price. That price is quoted in terms of money. A haircut at Tammy's salon is also offered at a certain price. Everything in the economy for sale has a price, and these are examples of money serving as a unit of account. Finally, money is a store of value because someone can exchange goods and services for it one day and use it to purchase goods and services at a later date. When Tammy earns an income from her job at the factory, they are going to hand her a paycheck, which she will then cash at the bank. Tammy can hold the cash in her wallet for a few days, months, or even years before she decides to exchange it for one of those incredible Angel food cakes. For something to be considered money, it must be a medium of exchange, a unit of account, and also a store of value. For example, gold is not money because it's not used as a medium of exchange. In addition, it doesn't serve as a unit of account. It may, however, serve as a store of value. The Mona Lisa painting is not money. It does serve as a store of value. However, it's not a medium of exchange or a unit of account. So far, we've talked about what money is and the role it plays in the economy. I want you to imagine for a second what everyone's money in the economy would look like if it were piled up in one place. The money supply is the total quantity of money in the economy at any given time. The Federal Reserve calculates the size of the money supply in a very specific way. They define money in terms of 2 monetary aggregates referred to as M1 and M2. Why do they measure the money supply? Because it's directly connected to the activity taking place all around us in the economy. In addition, the Federal Reserve's Board of Governors and the Federal Open Market Committee use this information as the basis of their monetary policy. Let's take a quick look at what's included within these 2 monetary aggregates using an actual snapshot of the money supply. M1 is the narrowest definition of money. M1 consists of coins and currency in circulation, checking accounts, and traveler's checks. M2 is a more broad definition of money than M1. M2 equals M1 plus small savings accounts plus money market funds and small time deposits. These measures correspond to 3 definitions of money that the Federal Reserve uses. Here's a snapshot of the money supply at the beginning of 2015. As you can see, M1 was around $3 trillion. Out of this, almost $1.27 trillion was in the form of cash. M2, the more broad measurement of money, was around $11.8 trillion. Can you imagine what $11.8 trillion would look like if it were piled up in the same place? Here's another way to think of these 2 measures of the money supply. The money inside M1 is functioning as a medium of exchange. When Tammy deposits money into her checking account, this is part of M1. She can withdraw this money at any time and use it to buy stuff. The The money inside M2, however, is functioning more as a store of value. For example, when Davis puts $10,000 into his savings account, he's using money as a store of value. This money will earn interest on his initial deposit. Both M1 and M2 are important measurements that the central bank uses to quantify the total amount of money in the economy. Now that you have a better understanding of money and the measures of the money supply, I want you to try some practice problems.